This is Euro 2024, but every team is made up of players who didn't get into the real-life squads. So the likes of Jack Grealish, Leon Goretzka and Marco Asensio have all got a second chance to play this summer. I'm going to simulate the tournament in Football Manager, and we'll find out which of the players who didn't get in should actually be going to Germany this summer.
Also, between you and me,
there is a massive shock in the group stage, and a very unlikely team makes it all the way to the semi-finals. So stay tuned to find out who they are. Starting in Group A, there are so many big names missing from Germany's squad this summer. So much so, I think this alternative 26 might be my favourite to win. You can see how good each player is as their current abilities out of 200 are listed next to the player names. The Hungarian squad, on the other hand, isn't quite so strong. So unfortunately for them, I can't see them getting into the top 2 of the group. But Scotland should be able to, with the likes of Lewis Ferguson and Aaron Hickey being central figures of this squad. I'll also be supporting them as they've got Lincoln City's Ethan Errehun in the team. But the Swiss might have something to say about that, as they probably have the second best squad in the group. But they end up absolutely rock bottom as the Scots beat them 2-0 with goals from Ryan Gould and Nathan Patterson in the first half. But Scotland couldn't beat Germany as Timo Werner scored 4 goals in a 4-2 victory to put the Scots back in their place. This allowed Germany to win the group as they beat Hungary 3-0, but could only draw 1-1 with Switzerland. However, the 7 points was enough for the top spot. Scotland also beat Hungary 1-0 to finish in second place and qualify for the knockouts. But despite Hungary's 1-0 win over the Swiss, their 3 points and -3 goal difference isn't enough to be one of the best third place teams, so they're knocked out. In Group B, Albania's squad is certainly lacking in a lot of areas, and I think they'll be lucky to pick up a single point in the group of death. Incredibly, there still isn't a spot for Dion Drenabeljo in Croatia's team, so if they can't score goals, we know which player they should have called up instead. Italy have a lot of really good defenders in their team, like Romagnoli and Scalvini, and they'll be looking to keep a lot of clean sheets, and they'll need to do that if they want to top the group. Because Spain have a lot of good attacking players available to them, like Ansu Fati and Luis Alberto, and they'll want to lay down a marker in the group stage for the rest of the competition. But it's Italy who end up beating Spain 2-0 with goals from Immobile and Biraghi to take control of the group and finish on top. But they don't get maximum points as Croatia hold them to a draw. In fact, Italy had to rely on a 91st minute equaliser to ensure they picked up a point and topped the group. Spain were able to beat Croatia, although only just 2-1, and as well as beating Albania 3-0, the same score Italy beat Albania by, they finished second in the group. Croatia's 1-0 win over Albania means that their 4 points are enough to qualify for the knockout stages in third place. Denmark have some really solid players in their squad, with the likes of Christian Eriksen and Mohamed Daramy. But they'll need to be at their very best if they want to top the group. Especially because England are here, and they have a wealth of attacking talent at their disposal. However, they might be lacking a bit when it comes to defence, which could be their Achilles heel. Serbia shouldn't be written off. They have a solid, well-balanced team, and their current abilities are good enough to be a very solid championship team. But the Slovenia squad should be written off. I can't see them getting anything out of the group apart from finishing in last place with 0 points. However, the group didn't go as expected. England were able to beat Denmark really comfortably with 3 goals from Eddie Nketiah, Calvin Phillips and Marcus Rashford. However, they then went on to lose to Serbia 1-0, conceding one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen, and with Serbia playing 83 minutes with just 10 men on the pitch. But Serbia went on to lose 2-0 to Denmark. All 3 sides went on to beat Slovenia, so they all end up on 6 points. But it's England's superior goal difference with Rashford's 95th minute winner over Slovenia, which puts them on top of the table as all 3 sides qualify. Now, I've had a really hectic few weeks putting together all of these Euro 2024 videos, but I have been making some time to prioritise my mental health. When the paid partners of today's video BetterHelp approached me a few months ago, I did a few sessions on the app to see how it all worked. Now, I've always had pretty good mental health, but there are a lot of worries and stresses that come with being a full-time YouTuber. I am constantly worried about the growth of the channel and how many people are actually watching my videos, and how long I can actually do this as a job for, because I love what I do and I don't want to do anything else. So to be able to talk through these worries with someone else was actually really nice, and I got a lot from it. So from my experiences, I have got a lot from BetterHelp. Once you sign up, you answer a few questions about yourself, and BetterHelp connects you with a credentialed therapist, usually within 48 hours, who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. You can do it all from the comfort of your own home via phone calls, video chats, or messages, which is really convenient. And from there, you can get help for as long as you need it. So if you visit betterhelp.com/TomFM, which is linked down in the description, you get a special discount for your first month of help. Austria have some top talent in their squad in Group D, and I think they could actually have a good run in the competition if they can play well together. But they'll need a miracle to beat France, who have the likes of Christopher Nkunku, Lucas Hernandez and Alan Saint-Maximin at their disposal. However, I don't think they'll win the group, because the Dutch also had a really good squad, with Frenkie de Jong and Sven Botman all able to play in the tournament. I think this lot will be able to beat the French and claim the top spot. Poland have 3-star players in Milik, Mati Cash and Kamil Grabara, but it might not be enough to qualify from the group if they suffer heavy defeats to the Dutch and the French. But incredibly, Poland draw 2-2 with France. And they were actually 2-0 up in the game, but France brought it back in the second half to draw the game. Poland also drew 0-0 with the Dutch to finish on 2 points. But incredibly, it's France who finished rock bottom of the group, as they could only draw 1-1 with Austria, whilst the Dutch went on to beat them 2-0. So against all odds, the big shock in the group stage is that France are out. The Dutch also had a 0-0 draw with Austria, so their +2 goal difference puts them ahead of Austria, who could only beat Poland 1-0. Group E's Belgium have the best player by current ability in the tournament with Thibaut Courtois. The rest of the squad looks pretty strong, but I don't think they'll be reaching the latter stages of the Euros. Romania's squad is a noticeable step down compared to Belgium though, so I can't see Romania get themselves to the top of the group. Instead, I think they'll be in a tight battle with Slovakia for 3rd place, as their team looks pretty similar in terms of current ability to Romania. That's because I think Ukraine will sneak into 2nd place in Group E, as their squad of players in general looks a little bit better than Romania and Slovakia. But how wrong was I? Romania scored a 92nd minute goal to seal a last-gasp victory against Ukraine, whereas Slovakia had a very comfortable 3-0 win to condemn Ukraine to last place in Group E. In fact, Ukraine's only point came in a 1-1 draw with Belgium in a game where Ukraine looked the better in the match stats. Belgium had their own struggles as they drew 0-0 with Romania and only just beat Slovakia as they equalised in the 83rd minute and then scored the win in the 91st minute to win 2-1. Romania's draw with Slovakia meant they finished a point ahead in 2nd place, but both sides will progress to the knockout rounds. And finally in Group F, Czechia have a solid team, but I don't think there's enough about it to be making a deep run in the competition. But they will be able to beat Georgia, who have a couple of decent players. But the bulk of the squad isn't good enough to do any damage to anyone. Especially this Portugal side that has some really talented players like Otavio and Florentino Luis, who might be able to help Portugal to the latter stages of the competition. And finally, Turkey have a lot of strength at centre-back and in attack, but their lack of a solid centre midfielder might hold them back from being successful. Portugal just beat Czechia 3-2, they took the lead early on through Otavio, but the Czechs actually took the lead with 2 goals either side of half-time. Portugal levelled things up 60 minutes in and then scored the winner in the 91st minute to win the match. The game against Georgia was a lot more simple as Andre Silva scored a hat-trick to secure all 3 points, and this meant that a 2-2 draw with Turkey gave Portugal enough points to secure the top spot. Turkey also drew 2-2 with Czechia to drop a couple of more points, but thankfully for them, their 3-0 win over Georgia gets them into 2nd place. Czechia qualify in 3rd place thanks to their 4-2 win over Georgia, who failed to pick up a single point in any of their 3 games. So remarkably, not a single country won all 3 of their games, and 50% of the teams who qualified only won 1 match. So it seems like once you get past the first choice internationals, things get a lot more even. Timo Werner leads the way with 6 goals ahead of Andre Silva's 4 goals in the Golden Boot race. Will Germany and Portugal regret not taking them? Or will England regret not taking Jack Grealish, who's already collected 4 assists and registered 14 key passes? Germany, Portugal and England should all qualify from the second rounds, which means we should see a lot more from those 3 players later on in the tournament. If you've been enjoying my Euro 2024 videos, then make sure you click that subscribe button. We're getting so close to 200,000 subscribers now, it would be amazing to get there soon, so thank you very much for subscribing. We start off with a thriller, as Germany just get past Denmark with a win on penalties. After finishing up 120 minutes with the scores at 1-1, Timo Werner missed his penalty for Germany. But Nicolas Valles missed Denmark's 5th penalty, and the shootout continued until Denmark missed their 8th penalty, which means the Germans win 8-7 and progress to the quarterfinals. But there is a huge shock as Scotland end up beating Spain 3-1. Spain took the lead early on, but 3 goals from Scotland before half-time from David Turnbull, Jacob Brown and John Souttar gave the Scots the lead. Spain got one back in the second half, but it wasn't enough and they get eliminated. There were no shocks in Italy versus Slovakia though, as the Italians cruised to a 2-0 victory to make the quarterfinals. England decided they were going to turn up against Czechia though, with Marcus Rashford scoring 4 goals in a 7-0 victory. Rashford's 4 goals in this game now means he's level with Timo Werner on 6 goals in total in the Golden Boot race. But Grealish could only add 1 more assist to his 4 from the group stages. Austria also hammered Romania 4-1 as they continue to impress with their run through the Euros. Perhaps Austria could cause a shock in the quarterfinals if they get given a kind draw. Perhaps against Scotland, or maybe against Serbia, who caused another upset by beating Portugal 1-0 to progress. And perhaps there is a slight upset as Croatia beat Belgium, although neither side is anywhere near as good as they were in 2018 or the actual squads going to the European Championships. And finally, the Dutch emerge as 2-1 winners over Turkey to become our final team in the quarterfinals, and they'll think they have a good shot at making it to the final from the teams that are left over. Because in my book, Scotland, Serbia and Croatia have pulled off some upsets, and teams will be looking to try and draw them in the quarterfinals to progress further. But can Scotland pull off the ultimate upset by beating their neighbours from the south in the quarterfinals, where we will be seeing one of Italy or Germany go home? The scoreline looks tight, but Austria had 17 shots to Serbia's 2 shots and 58% possession. So they really do deserve their semi-final spot with their 2-1 win. Italy v Germany was a lot more dramatic though. Immobile gave Italy the lead 21 minutes in, and then he doubled their lead 37 minutes in. But the Germans pulled a goal back less than 60 seconds later to make it 2-1 at the break. And it was how the game was looking like it was going to finish. But in the 94th minute, the referee gave Germany a dubious penalty, which gave Gnabry the chance to equalise from the spot, and he took the game to extra time, where in the 115th minute, Karim Adeyemi pounced on a poor pass, raced into the area, and scored the goal to win the game for Germany. There was no nonsense from England versus Scotland though, as the English trounced the Scots 6-0 to make it to the semi-finals. And after 2 huge scorelines in the knockouts, they look the favourites to go on to win the tournament. Rashford's brace means he now sits clear at the top of the Golden Boot race with 8 goals to his name. Tyrell Malacia scored the only goal of the game, which sees the Dutch also progress to the semi-finals past Croatia. If I'm honest, it looks like we're heading for a repeat of the 1966 World Cup final, as I can't see England or Germany losing. And Germany don't lose. In fact, they win really convincingly as Timo Werner scores himself a hat-trick as Germany become our first finalists as they defeat the impressive Austrians 3-0. But England, on the other hand, also win 3-0 as they control the game against the Dutch, where incredibly Raheem Sterling scores a header to set up a repeat of the 1966 World Cup final. England v Germany. I just hope this game doesn't go down to penalties as an Englishman myself. Werner's hat-trick means he retakes the lead in the Golden Boot race, whereas in the assists, Grealish and Gosens were battling for the top award over there. Germany are set up more defensively, but they could hit on the counter-attack, as England's formation looks very attacking and could be vulnerable at the back. However, both teams decide to play in white, so maybe the players will get confused and pass it to the wrong person. It certainly confused Rashford, who didn't know if he was shooting or crossing the ball. But it didn't confuse Ben Chilwell, who gets the ball back from his corner, and he manages to curl the ball past the keeper and give England the lead. Germany tried to get right back into the game, but Timo Werner couldn't beat the English centre-backs in the air, and a header from a corner was sent agonisingly wide of the post. But the Germans kept composed, and eventually Wolf got the ball through to Timo Werner, who lifted it over Pope and get Germany back on level terms to score his 10th goal of the tournament. The Germans really look in control of the game now, but they just could not get the ball in the back of the net, despite having multiple shots from long and short range. So we head into the break with the scores level at 1-1. But just over 10 minutes into the second half, Germany took the lead as Leon Goretzka scored a powerful header from a corner. So England had to do something, but Rashford's effort went harmlessly over the crossbar. With 20 minutes to go, Marcus tried to carry the weight of a nation on his shoulders, but he just couldn't score. So instead Raheem Sterling tried, but he also couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. And when James Ward-Prowse can't get a free kick on target, you know it's not going to be your day. So Germany come from behind and win the European Championships, but only for players who aren't actually going to the real-life Euros. I've actually just got back from the real-life Euros, where I watched 3 games in 3 days in 3 different cities. So if you want to see how I got on, who I saw, and if I actually made it to all the games, that video is on screen for you to watch right now. It's a banger, so I hope you really enjoy it.